Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Courage Talks. This is part of a special edition of Young Achievers, and I have Renee Noronha with me today, someone who's aspiring to do an Ironman across 6 continents, and she wants to be the youngest to do it. I know that's not going to be easy, but I'm sure she's determined to do that. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, tell us about your childhood. Tell us, where did you grow up? What is the cutest and the sweetest thing that you remember of your childhood, or maybe what your parents talked to you a lot about?
I was born in Mumbai. I went to school in Mumbai. I went to the same school for my whole life, and then I did my A levels, and then
Which school was
I,
that?
that was DG Khetan International School. So
Okay.
that's in Mumbai itself. My sister also went to the same school. When I was 6 years old, I was a very active kid. So my parents they put me in gymnastics class, and I
Mm-hmm.
really loved it. So I loved like doing. I used to do cartwheels around the house, and I used to like jump around from one sofa to the other sofa. So my parents thought it's a good option to put me into gymnastics class where it's a safe environment to practice gymnastics. So I did that. I did that for 10 years from the age of 6 to 16. I trained for like, so at the age of 9 or 10, I started training professionally, like competition. So I used to train for the whole 8 hours a day, every
Yeah,
day. I competed in different competitions. That was my whole life
got
as
it.
a kid.
Who was your idol in gymnastics?
Simone Biles.
She's written a beautiful book. I don't know if you got a chance to read it.
I am going to read it.
She's written a biography. I read it like a couple of years back. And any injuries that you remember about?
Yeah, I did have a lot of injuries. There was one major injury where I had a ligament tear in my ankle.
Okay.
So I couldn't do everything. I couldn't practice fully for 6 months, maybe 8 months. But I
Mhm.
could do like upper body stuff. I could still train, but I couldn't train fully. It took me like a year to get back to what I was before.
Right at the moment when that injury happened, what's the first thing that came to your mind? Did it
Um,
feel like your career has come crashing down? Did you feel that you will never be able to do gymnastics again? Did such weird and crazy thoughts come to your mind at that time?
Not really. So it was not like, oh, it's the end of the world or something like that. It was
Okay.
that I am going to take time to recover from this.
Hmm.
So it's better to fully focus on my recovery than to like not do all of the physio and then get back and then get re injured. Focusing on my recovery and physiotherapy at that time was my main goal. Focus, yeah.
Got it. And it what took 6 months for you to recover. But that brings up an interesting point, the fact that you came out strong and maybe stronger. So the topic is courage talks. What's your definition of courage? What does courage mean to you?
I think courage is, to me, it means having the strength to try something out. It could be anything. Just going for it, just attempting it, I feel is what courage means.
Very interesting. You did mention Simone Biles as your idol for gymnastics, but is there any other example, someone you look up at, someone more closer home who's been your hero all along?
My sister.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tell us about her.
yeah, so there's the whole story. So, she's a national level artistic roller skater. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one nationals where she dislocated her knee. So, it was during her first performance. I think it was a quadrit, and then she dislocated her knee. And then I was at the audience. She actually saw her knee go sideways, and then she had to like push it back up, and she was in a lot of pain. She had another performance after that, and she actually had the courage to do it, to
Oh
do
man.
that performance, and she won silver at the national championship.
Wow, that's quite an amazing story. No wonder you're bursting with so much of inspiration and confidence yourself. If your
Yeah,
sister could do all that, I'm sure you can do even better.
yeah. She is an inspiration.
That's interesting. So, when did the transition from gymnastics to triathlon happen? Walk us through in terms of who introduced you to the sport of triathlon. Did you pick up running first? What all happened before you actually got to the Ironman starting line?
I started running during the lockdown. My dad used to run marathons. I,
Still does that?
he's actually recovering from a knee injury.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he's getting back. During the lockdown, I started running with him. So I did like a 5K, and we did 5K for like 3 days a week, the whole month.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to increase that. So we did 10K. And
Okay.
then after that, we did 21K. when I did that first 21K with him, I was like, oh, this is nice. I like doing this. So then
Okay.
again, the next week, we did another 21K and we were like, oh, let's do it in lesser time this time. That is the moment that I realized that this is what I want to do. And I'm really enjoying it. So I kept increasing the distances and I started swimming and then cycling. So I met my coach, Shankar Thapa.
How did you
He
meet your coach? Who introduced you to him?
My dad had actually called the Indian Triathlon Federation for a list of the best coaches. So they sent him his contact, and my dad contacted him, and then we went to see the pool and stuff. Yeah, Shankar sir is a really good coach, and he actually taught me how to swim. I
Okay.
didn't know how to swim. I had never done anything other than gymnastics my whole life. I had to learn how to swim, I had to learn how to cycle. I did not know how to cycle on the road. Even now, I'm a little like hesitant to cycle on the road. He believed in me and we went ahead with it. And then I did Iron Kids and I was first in my age group, but that was only a run. After that, I did Bergman Pune in 2022, and that was my first triathlon race. So it was an Olympic distance race, and
Hmm.
I was first in my age group. So I got like a trophy that really motivated me. But at the end of that race, I knew that I could do more. I always felt the same way. Even when I did the 5K, I felt like I could do more and I increased it. So even at the end of this Olympic distance triathlon, I felt like I could do more. My coach, he has done multiple Ironmans and ultra marathons. I told him that I think I want to do an Ironman. So
Hmm.
he said, oh yeah, let's do it. And then we started training for it. And then I did my first Ironman in 2024 in New Zealand. And
Hmm.
I did it with him. It's a really nice, like, core memory for me doing that first Ironman.
And take me back to that first half marathon that you did. What was your timing like?
We did it by ourselves. So I was actually
Roughly, you
four,
remember? Was
no,
it like?
I think 2.5 hours.
Okay, got it. And then you constantly improved it.
Yeah.
But did you continue running half marathons after that? Did you participate in any timed runs half marathon?
I did. So I did the Tata Mumbai Marathon half in
Okay.
2024, just before the Ironman.
What was the timing like?
It was 2 hours, 1 minute or 2 hours, 3 minutes. So
Nice.
I wanted it to be a sub two,
Okay.
but it didn't happen.
It did happen or it didn't happen?
It didn't happen. It
Okay.
was 2 hours, 1 minute, or 2 hours, 3 minutes, something like that.
Nice, nice. But then your attention got diverted towards the Ironmans. So coming to Ironman, the big challenge in Ironman is open water. So how did you prepare for the open water swim before you went to Bergman Pune? Did you dive into an ocean and swim? Did you practice it, or how did you go about doing that?
So I did. I had done a lake swim before Bergman, Pune, and before Ironman, New
Yeah.
Zealand. There's a lake in Vasai or Virar,
Yeah.
and we had just gone there like 2 or 3 times, and it was a coach session. So Shankar sir took all of us, all of the people who were planning to do a outdoor
Yeah.
open water swim. We had done like a session in the lake, but it's
Got
very
it.
different from pool swimming, open
Walk
water
us
swimming.
through the first open water experience. What did you feel like? Did you feel like a fish in the water? Did you feel like a shark in the water? What was the experience like? Did you feel in control? Did you have vague feelings about it?
Initially, swimming did not come naturally to me. I had to
Mhm.
work a lot with my coach on technique and getting the strokes right. So
Yeah.
it took a lot of time. But I think now I'm at a good place swimming wise. I can still get better
Hmm.
because I recently had an ankle injury last year before the
Okay.
TMM. I was focusing a lot on swimming. So my
Mhm.
timings, they got really fast. The first open water swim, I think I still get that feeling. I always feel there's something down there. And luckily, when you look down in an open water, you can't see anything unless you
Especially
go.
because the
Yeah,
water is bumpy.
yeah. So I had done Ironman Weymouth 70.3. There, the water was clear. Even in New Zealand, the water was clear. But on the day of the race, it was really choppy. There was a storm coming in, so you couldn't see
New
anything
Zealand is
down.
very nasty for that.
Yeah. So I'm really scared that something is down there. The first open water swim, I was with people all the time because I didn't want to like something to come up. So sometimes I think to myself when I'm in an open water just to
Mhm.
like distract my mind from the fact that there could be something down there. And also, I don't like to watch shark movies before I do a race or an open water swim. Like the Meg is such a good air flight movie. I watch it while coming back.
That makes sense. And what about cycling? How did you build up the confidence in cycling? Because you said you had not cycled before, and that's typical in Bombay. You don't get to cycle.
I did go for a few rides before the Ironman. I went with my dad. We didn't do a lot. We just did maybe 40 or 60. There was also one race. So they had the Geo Cyclathon 3 months before my Ironman. So that was a 100-kilometer race. So that was good practice for the Ironman. I done that, yeah.
Interesting. Was your father also fond of cycling, or he picked up the cycle just for you?
I think when he was younger, he used to cycle a lot. But when I'm cycling, he was on the scooter. Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, walk us through the first experience of Ironman New Zealand. How did the preparation go? Did you forget something? Did your swim glasses break, or did you forget? Give us that interesting tidbits which might not have got covered so far.
I am very particular about keeping everything in place. So I
Nice.
do that a lot. I check like at least 5 times if everything is in my transition bags. So there's
Okay.
no way I can miss anything. So it was a good race. I had prepared fully. I did everything I could do before the race. My coach was also there with me. He was also doing the race. So during the cycle ride, I saw him twice and he was like, Rene, are you okay? Rene, are you doing well? I was like, yes, I am. Thank you. And he was like, keep going, you're doing very well, the whole race. And my mom was also there with me. So there were these parts in the run course where I saw her so many times and she was walking with me. And she called my dad on the phone and even they were like encouraging me to like keep going. It was a good race.
It's funny that you mentioned that your dad was cheering you on the sidelines. My daughter was cheering me on the sidelines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
online, phone.
No, no, she was there. She was very much there in person.
Oh, so my mom
Both.
was there with me and my dad was on the phone.
Okay, got it. And the Ironman kids in Goa, were you among the older kids? Do you think you had an advantage because of your age? Did you beat kids younger than you? How was it like?
I did. So I think I was in the 14 to 16 age group. And I don't know, I was 15 or 16, I think.
Well, very much
So I
in the
was
mid.
older, yeah. But no, I don't think I had an advantage because
Got it, got
I'm
it.
new to the sport and I think everybody is on the same level, I think. Because I mean, it depends on how much you practice. There were some kids who were training for it, who've done triathlons their whole life. So maybe they have that practice, but it was a 3K run.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And Goa is nasty for jellyfish. Any encounters around the time when you were there? Did you hear about anyone getting bit by jellyfish and all that?
I think I did
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't actually swim
Mm-hmm.
because my race was the Iron Kids, it was only the run.
Mm-hmm.
But they do, and you have like this kind of like thing you can put after you get this jellyfish thing for it to like calm down. So I did
Okay.
see people using that.
Got it. And Ironman New Zealand, you said the weather was bad and it's known for very strong winds. How did you manage the bike part? Because it would have been very difficult to manage the bike when you were there, right?
It was. There were some moments of the race where I was just walking with the bike because it had gotten so windy, but it was okay. Like I
Mhm.
was happy I got through the bike, and once I started the run, I knew I was gonna finish this race. This race was mine after I finished the cycle ride. So I need to work on my cycling.
Got it. Walk us through the exact moment when you heard that, Renee, you are an Ironman.
There's nothing that to compare to that moment. It's such a distinct memory stuck in my head. Like this, Rene Norona, you are an Iron Man. And I can't believe like I was training for like 2, 3 years just
Yeah,
to hear those words. And it's so like, wow, I've done it. All of that work has paid off. And now I'm just gonna look at the medal.
yeah, the red carpet, the lights, the crowd cheering you, people who don't know you are clapping and screaming your name.
Yeah.
It's got a very, very special ring to it. But every time you finish it, the big question comes up: what next? So, had you planned out what next right after already by then, or you took some time off after New Zealand? You thought through what you want to do next.
No, I had not planned what I wanted to do next. I was checking races, but I didn't
Mhm.
have a plan. We moved to London in 2024. So just after the race, we came here.
Yeah.
And they have Ironman Wales, which is one of the most difficult ones. I think I'm going to do it in the future. Definitely
Okay.
going to. So that was one full race, and they had Weymouth 70.3. So that was in September this in 2024. I think I registered for it in June, and
Hmm.
it's a half Ironman. So I was training for it, but the half Ironman is really different, the training from the
Hmm.
full Ironman. So yeah, that was my next race after that. And then in October, I registered for Ironman Hamburg, which was in
Hmm.
2025. I knew I wanted to do all the continents. So I was doing one a year. But then after Ironman Hamburg, I was looking at world records. So my dad was actually looking at world records. And he
Right.
said that the current world record is held
Hmm.
by a male athlete at
Uh-huh.
21 years and 167 days. So I have the chance to break that record at 21 years and 90 days. So I decided that this is what I want to do and I should go for it. So this year I'm going to be doing three full Ironmans, and next year I'm going to do Ironman South Africa, where the
Hmm.
record will officially be set.
Wow. So which are the three that you're doing this year?
So I'm doing Philippines in June,
Cover
Canada
which?
in August,
Okay.
and Argentina in November.
Wow. And that's all requires a lot of travel and a lot of logistics.
It does.
Is your dad's going to travel with you or mom or how you worked everything
So
out?
normally it's one parent that travels with me. So right now I'm actually looking for sponsors. I'm looking
Hmm.
for a brand that could really support me on this journey because it is a big thing. I'll actually be breaking two world records. It'll be youngest athlete, so overall, and youngest female athletes. I am working with Under Armour. They're currently my gear sponsor, so they're helping me with apparel and shoes. But if there could be a big company like Air
Hmm.
India that could like sponsor my flights, or any flight company that could sponsor my flight, it would like help a lot because right now I'm a student and it is difficult to fund such
Yeah,
because
mentioning about you being a student, you pursuing a BS in data science from IIT Madras. How do you juggle? And I'm sure that's what a lot of students would want to ask. How are you juggling your studies along with extremely demanding practice that you need to do for your man?
I follow a schedule. I do the same thing every day. So it's a very, because I've been doing it for so long, I think now it's become part of my routine. But initially, it was a little difficult to manage. Even now, at times, when I have exams, it does get a little overwhelming. Or if I have an event coming up, it does get a little overwhelming. But
Hmm.
I'm able to focus a little more on studies when I have an exam coming up and focus a little more on training when I have a event coming up. I think communicating with your coach about what is the next thing and what is required at that moment is very important.
So you typically have a fixed routine every day. What does your day look like?
Yeah.
Why don't you just walk us through a typical day?
So I get up in the morning and I have a class.
What time do you
S-
wake up?
Normally it's 5:30. So I have
Okay.
my first class at 5:30. It's like about an hour and a half. Then after that I have my breakfast. I eat the same breakfast every day.
You happy or you sad about it?
No, I'm happy. I sometimes change the fruit. So it's an oat smoothie. Sometimes I use strawberries.
Hmm.
Sometimes now the mango season is coming up, so I'm going to use mangoes. Then I study. So I'm actually doing a diploma in sports science from a
Okay.
college out here. So it's a physical course. I actually have to go to college.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I go there. I go to college in the morning. I come back for lunch and then I study. And then from 4 onwards, I train.
Four
4 or 5
onwards
onwards, yeah,
till when?
till 8.
And your coach gives you different sports every day or different exercises every day.
So it's like 4 days of running, 3 days of cycling, and 3 to 4 days of swimming in a week.
Got it. And are you combining a lot of strength training in the gym also with this or?
I try to do 3 sessions a week, but I end up doing two. Also, right now, because I'm training for Ironman Philippines, it's a really hot race. I'm doing my cycling indoors. So I have three heaters, which are
Oh
like
my,
on. blast. Yeah, it's so hot. And my whole t-shirt is fully wet when I'm done.
It's funny, in India, people prepare for cold races by cycling indoors because it's too hot outside.
Yeah,
You're preparing for a hot event in London
yeah,
by throwing heaters at home because
yeah,
it's too cold outside. This is funny.
yeah.
Why did you come to India and train?
For this race.
Yeah, you'll
I
get
did.
naturally hot weather.
So I did do Tata Mumbai Marathon this year, the full in
You
January.
registered.
So I think it
What are
was
the
so,
timing? I was there as well.
it was not my best race. So I was recovering from an ankle.
Okay, Renee. I was just asking you the time. I didn't say it has to be the best.
So it was 5.5 hours.
No problems. That's okay.
Yeah, my marathon time in Hamburg was 5 hours. So I think it was a combination of the heat and
Yeah.
the ankle.
No, no. The fact that you are injured, and that's very typical in Bombay. If you want to do a 4 or a 4:15, you can do it nicely. But if you are missing the 4:15 mark, then it goes all the way to 4:45 or 5. Because if you reach the Marine Drive stretch and it's already hot, the heat saps your energy away. And once you know that you lost the momentum for finishing strong, it gets harder and harder. The last 5 kilometers can really get harder. So it's totally okay what you're saying. I can believe that you had a better time in Ironman Hamburg with a full marathon there in 5 hours compared to what you did
Yeah,
in T. So TMM is among the most difficult ones in
it
India
is.
because of the combination of the, I mean, last couple of years, I think last 3, 4 years, weather's still been nicer. 2018, 19, even 2020, the weather was horrible. I mean, you used to start with 88 or 90% humidity with temperature hovering around 24, 25. The moment you start, your energy was sapped. Now, at least the end part is where you need to worry about. So that's totally okay. That's not a problem at all. That makes sense. You've been doing this journey solo, or you have had some friends signing up, maybe one of the three activities, or it's just been you and your parents doing all the training?
It
Are
has
your friends also into running or swimming, if not the full Ironman?
no, but I do know people from my club tri
Okay.
group
Okay.
who are preparing for an Ironman. But recently I have convinced my sister that when she turns 18,
Okay.
when she turns 18, we are going to do a backyard ultra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great plan. But she's not got into running herself.
Sometimes she runs with me
Mm-hmm.
when I'm practicing, but
Okay.
she's just started. So earlier she used to run, then she stopped, and now she's starting again.
Got it. Tell us more about the cycling part. What were the challenges that you observed when you started cycling? Which bike do you have? What's the element of the cycling that you have to still work a lot on?
In Bombay, the roads are not the best, and the
Yeah.
traffic is also too crowded. And I don't think it's very safe to cycle with the traffic in Bombay. When they have events like the Geo
Yeah.
Cyclotron, when that they had closed the road, so that was pretty safe. And that was also a 100-kilometer race, so it is good practice. Yeah, just managing the bike is difficult because there were times where people were coming in the opposite direction as me, and then I need to look at that, and that is like the last thing you could think of. Like someone is
Yeah.
actually coming towards me, and then you need to maneuver your way and go to the side. So that comes with a lot of experience. Right now, I do all of my rides in a park. So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
10-kilometer loop in Richmond Park. So I just go and do loops.
Okay. Got it.
Even in an Ironman, it's really nice because the roads are closed. They're only cyclists. So it's very safe. But all of the handling the bike and being it comfortable enough to take the bottle, drink your water, put it back, that comes with a lot of like hours of training and stuff like that. One important thing that everybody should know who's cycling is they should know how to change their, if they get a flat, they need to know what to do.
Change it.
So I
Change it
learned
too.
how to fix the puncture. So I just directly change the tube of my wheel. That is one of the fastest ways to like go about it. And you need to carry a small pump even during the Ironman. If you have a tube bike, if it's tubeless, I think it's a little easier. You need to carry like those small. What bike do you use?
I use a Scott Addict.
Is that a TT bike?
No, it's not a tri bike, but yeah, it's not yet. I've not got to the tri bike as yet. Which of the three activities is your favorite and most favorite and least favorite?
Right now, it's swimming because I've been doing a lot of it, and I can see my improvements and my progressions timing wise. So right
Mm-hmm.
now it's that. Running, I'm getting there. I'm getting back into the flow of
Mm-hmm.
training and the routine. So that and cycling, I think, has always been the same. I need to work on it.
Got
So
it.
that is
Got it.
yeah.
So you particular about timing that you achieve in these events, or right now the first focus is since you're aiming for the world record, just want to make sure that you finish strong. What's the priority?
It's finishing strong. I cannot be fully drained and tired at the finish line because recovery for that is going to take so much of time. So it's
Hmm.
finishing strong and getting through those races. That is my current focus.
How did you go around selecting the events that you did? What was the logic applied to it? Of course, one was obviously not overlapping in terms of timing. You might have wanted to account for your study schedule just to make
Yeah.
sure that it's not clashing as well. But if you had two races in the same continent around the same time, what was the deciding factor between them?
My exam dates. In November, I had exams. So the 1st of November, where I have Argentina, I schedule that in such a way that it doesn't collide with my exam dates. So I get
Right.
enough time to study as well before the exam.
Got it. By now, you've observed that the hugely male dominance in all kinds of endurance sports. Why do you think that's the case?
It could be awareness because there are so many male competitors. A lot of female athletes think that maybe they can't do it. Maybe it's
Mhm.
representation.
Maybe they
So
should call it Iron Woman as well.
maybe, yeah, it would encourage more women, I think.
Hmm.
The more women you see doing an Ironman, even you feel like if she can also do it and she's a woman, even I can do it. So the more women you see doing an Ironman, it'll inspire even more women to
Of course.
compete and try it out. Even in the Tata Mumbai Marathon, there were so many women, and it was so inspiring to see women of all ages. So there were like small 18-year-olds who were just doing their first race, maybe, and then there were like older women, people in their 70s and 80s. Like, I hope when I'm 70 and 80, I could be like them.
Yeah, that's true. What was your dream while growing up? What did you want to do in life? What was the
S-
career goal for you like?
So when I was a gymnast, it was always to be an
Okay.
Olympic gymnast. But I think that changed when I
Hmm.
started triathlons. Right now, it's the world record. So world record holder is my current goal, which I think will happen. It'll happen next year. And after that, academic wise, when I finish my undergrad, I'm going to do my master's. And then after that, maybe a PhD,
Wow. What do you want to do your master's in?
probably data science or AI. I'm still deciding.
Okay. And your PhD would be in?
I'm still deciding. So even bioinformatics is a really like it's a field that really interests me. So it sounds really cool to get into like a healthcare kind of field. But I'm still deciding. I still have another year to decide what I want to do.
Got it. Who inspired you for PhD? Where did you get the idea? When did you first think that you want to do a PhD?
After masters, that's the next step.
Okay. It
That's the
is.
way I look at it.
It is. It is. But yeah, I think the challenge obviously with PhD, the quantum of time that it requires. So
It
people are
does.
more impatient to jump on to starting to earn, work in a company, and not continue to be a student, especially because majority of your friends would be out there working, earning money, and traveling on their own money and having fun with their own money. That
Yeah.
time it might be difficult for you to say, okay, I'm going to go to the college and continue for the next 5 years. That's where the challenge comes in. The other thing which was coming to my mind was in India, kids are not encouraged to spend time on sports because they feel their studies will get impacted. You have not only maneuvered your way to do a few Ironmans, but you have ensured that you're not just doing one course, you are actually doing a parallel diploma as well, apart from your BS from IIT Madras. My question to you is, has your endurance activities helped you to become a better student? Or has your affection to endurance sport reduced the amount of pressure on you to perform well in your academics? Which is true.
I
You
don't
want me
think
to
that's
repeat?
no, I got it. But I don't think that's the case at all. Like both help each other. When it gets tough while studying, I just remember what I feel like when it gets tough when I'm trying to run and everything in my body is hurting and I'm so tired and I'm ready to stop. My mindset out there to keep going. That's the same mindset I use when I'm tired while I'm studying. This
Okay.
has to be done. I have to
Mhm.
get through this. and it's going to get easier. It's going to make my life easier. And even while studying, I'm doing data science. So the way I look at my stats has completely changed. Do you know you get all your stats after you do a workout? The way I look at that, it has changed. My data science background has helped a lot.
Anyone you know who's got inspired by you and has picked up the sport?
Yeah, a lot of people like message me online. They saw me do an Ironman, so even they want to start working out and running. There was also a girl in my club, so in my tri club, she said that even she wants to do an Ironman, how I did an Ironman when she turns 18. And she
Hmm.
actually told me that I inspire her. So that moment was like really special to me. It made all of this worth it.
Wow, very interesting. Somewhere I read that you also aspiring for the Comrades, which is a grueling 89-kilometer ultra. So, how does Comrades fit into these Ironman dreams of yours?
Once I do the Ironman on all the continents, I do like running. So running takes a very different approach, training wise and even mentally. So
Hmm.
last year in September, I had actually done a 50K, just a run.
Wow.
That's something that I wanted to do since I did the Ironman. And I finally like started training for it and I got the courage to like, I want to do it and I'm going to do it. The amount of mental strength I needed to just keep going, it really
Hmm.
showed me that how strong I am. It's very different from the Ironman. And maybe it was also a little difficult because I was doing it myself. Like I had a vest, I kept all of my stuff. I was fueling myself and I was alone. There was no one. My dad, he joined me for the last half an hour.
Which event was this, or you were doing it solo?
I was doing it alone.
Why did you sign up for an event like Tata Ultra or some of the 50K events which happen in India?
I could have done that, but I want to
Now
do
you
it
can. Now you can.
then. Yeah, I
Now
can,
that
yeah.
you got the fear out of the way, there's this famous border 50K. You could do that. It's a very good
I
ultra.
know that, yeah.
It's going to be a little hot compared to the place where you are.
But the dark would be a nice
Ladakh
race
you
to
can
do.
do. Ladakh full you can do. Start with a full and then you can look at the Khardungla if you're too bored.
Yeah,
In fact, it's funny. I've been shying away from ultras for all my life because at one point of time I had to decide whether I go the ultra way after having done many marathons, whether I go the ultra or the tri way, and I found the tri way much better. And I kind of stayed away from ultras except for the couple which I've done. But recently, a couple of friends have been pushing me and I've kind of started seeding that idea in my mind that I might probably do 2027, I might do the Comrades. And if I have to do Comrades 2027, I obviously need to do a couple of long ones. So
yeah.
Khardungla in Ladakh, which is a 72K, or the border 100K, that could be good options to prep for this year to do Comrades next year. But it's all in the air. First, I have to get my Ironman in Estonia done before I can
It'll,
plan.
yeah, it'll be stress.
It is. It's among the easier ones. I generally pick up the easier ones because just get them off the way so that you build your
Okay.
confidence with the easier ones. Because, see, Ironman is two things. One is you, and the other is the terrain. You want to get your confidence up till the terrain is easy. And then once your confidence is at that level where terrain doesn't matter, then you can sign up for more difficult ones because once you've gone through the journey multiple times, then the terrain doesn't matter to make the terrain inconsequential, right? That's how your preparation should be. The best preparation should not rely on how the weather would be on that day, how the wind would be on that day, how much of the uphill is going to be there. Because if you're mentally strong and if you've got a core strength, then any terrain will not stop you from getting there where you want to get. I want to spend a few minutes on nutrition as well. How much of effort has gone behind in nutrition while you're training? Of course, during the event, I'm sure you have had your set of gels and salts
Yeah.
and all that with you. But have you started shying away from food and masse because you need to be health conscious, or you still frequently indulge in the typical food that we Indians are infamous for?
I do work with a nutritionist to get my diet right because it's
Mhm.
a really important part of training because your
Right.
body needs to recover. So I
Hmm.
have Indian food. My mom, she does all of the cooking for me, and I'm really thankful for her to like because she takes so much of effort to make that food for me and
Ah,
follow the whatever ingredients and stuff like that that
yeah.
I've been asked to eat. So I do eat Indian food at home, normal like chapatis and vegetable. There are days where I feel like having something sweet, so I have like an ice cream or ras malai.
Okay. But are you like strictly avoiding pizzas and pastas because they're unhealthy and or something like that? Nothing like that.
I have a lot of pastas. So for carb loading, it's a lot of 3 to 5 days before the race. I have a lot of carbs, lots of pasta, lots of rice.
Hmm.
So that's very important for you to perform during your race because in the end, it's all about sustaining for that distance. Because in
Yeah,
Ironman, it's like 12 plus hours. You're out there the whole day. You're burning so much. You need that fuel. So it's
got it.
important to focus on nutrition.
The next one is sort of a trick question. Okay, so listen to it carefully. The chief of Indian Gymnastic Federation comes to you and says, Renee, we are glad that you've done all that you've done for Ironman, but Indian gymnastics really needs you. Would you switch sports and go back to gymnastics?
I don't think that would happen. That would really not happen. I think I like what I'm doing.
But do you think that you, with all the health consciousness coming in with fitness for three different varied sports, do you still have that physical ability to be able to do gymnastics? Do you still do somersault randomly once in a while or no?
I could do like a handstand just to check if I could still do it. But I don't, that's a very like, it wouldn't happen. The whole rhetorical question wouldn't happen.
But do you look forward to watching gymnastics when Olympics happen, or you're not?
I do like watching a lot of like gymnastics and all of the athletes performing. They do a lot.
Got it.
They are so inspiring and they are so dedicated to what they're doing.
Very
It's
true.
their whole life. Yeah.
Of course. And it's quite grueling and quite demanding, like any other sport. Those few minutes of performance might have required few years to get it right. And the amount of pressure riding on the gymnast in that particular event at that particular moment is very difficult for any of us to imagine. We get like what, 50 Ironmans to try out every year. They get one opportunity every 4 years. So there's a big difference between the amount of stuff which is at stake when they're actually performing in that big stage as well. Are you an avid reader? Have books been an important part of your journey?
I do like to read nonfiction.
Okay.
So, Atomic Habits, I
Mm-hmm.
read that last year. It was a really helpful book. It was nice to see what things you can do to like
Mm-hmm.
improve whatever you're doing. I am also reading a data science book. It's about how data is biased. All of data everywhere is biased because when they were testing all of whatever measurements in so many different aspects of life, they were actually measured for men. So women were not really taken into all of those studies. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Invisible Women, and it's really surprising to see that there's so many things that are not really made for women. It is changing, but I think it should change faster.
Yeah, I just read a beautiful book, Fitter, Faster, Further, which has taken, this has talked about women running history. And it goes way back to 1920, 1930s when women were pleading for some sports to be included for women as well in the Olympics. And even to get events like 800-meter and 1,000 meters was like a big challenge. Marathon came as late as 1976, 1980. Yeah, yeah.
70s.
So there's a lot which has gone behind to get there where they have, right? So yeah, I'm sure as you grow older, I'm sure you'll come across more books and be able to imbibe more knowledge. Tell me, has indulgence in triathlons given you less time with your friends? Is your normal life quite different from rest of your classmates? And do you feel sorry about
No, I don't feel sorry about it, but it is different. The friends that I have, really few friends, and they know what I'm doing and they know that it will take time. So even
it?
they
Yeah.
are really understanding about my schedule. So we'll try to like match our schedules in such a way that we both are free and
Yeah.
then we go out for like maybe lunch or dinner, whatever, meet them out. But I have few friends and the friends that I have, they are very nice and I treat them like family and it's really important to have a close group of people that are really nice to you. They encourage you and they inspire you to do better. So it's really nice. So even people who I train with, even they are so encouraging. Some of them are training for different events like marathons and Ironman. So it's nice to like see how similar our routines are. And
Yeah.
then there's some friends that are doing something completely different and
Hmm.
how different our routines are. Each friend or each person in my life has such a different routine from me and such a
Mhm.
different life compared to me.
That's very typical about runners that when runners meet, they talk only about running, which non-runners don't like. So have you had that challenge that you would want to talk a lot about your training or the events that you're signing up, but your friends who might not have anything to do with it might not like to hear that? Have you had such issues ever?
I think because I meet my friends once in a while, we have
Okay.
other things to talk about. The running friends, I would talk to them about running.
Yeah.
But my other friends who do not run, we have so
Hmm.
much of other stuff to talk about other than running. So if we've spoken about all of that, then I get into running.
Got it. What's something that you think that which girls at your age might not have known as yet?
The idea that everything should be perfect. Like sometimes things do go wrong, but
Hmm.
it's important to know that doesn't make you a failure, and that's not a failure, it's just a setback. So
Yeah.
when you try that thing again, you'll come back stronger and you'll be more prepared for it. It's not the end of the world when something goes wrong or it doesn't go according to plan. It's very important to learn how to deal with such situations because there are a lot of situations like that that happen. So even I deal with stuff like this and even I'm learning how to deal with it.
Hmm.
So it's important to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if things don't go according to plan. We just need to work towards it.
What's one thing that you're very curious about?
Like just in general.
Yeah, in general, nothing related to the sports. Something that you would really want to spend time knowing. Is there a topic? Is there something that you're very curious about? Something that you would want to explore when you have a lot of time?
I do like
Non-sports. Non-sports.
yeah, yeah. So I do like listening to music. I do like listening to Taylor Swift. I did
Have you
attend her
attended a concert?
concert.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
last year. It was amazing. It's so unreal. Like she's just standing there in front of you and you're just standing there. So something like that. Or I like whales and
Okay.
dolphins,
Okay.
marine biology. I would like to know more about the ocean or space. Like they recently had the Artemis 2
Yeah.
launch and they came back down. I mean, astronauts' lives are so different. They just left Earth and they went in space and then they came back. It's just crazy. But these are like really random.
That's exactly the kind of answer that I was expecting. Okay, last one. This is my favorite part. What's a question you have for me?
I was going to ask you what is your next race, but you already told me you're doing Ironman Estonia.
Yeah. So I'm
I
doing the
have.
World Major, New York World Major as well after
Oh
that.
wow, this year?
Yeah.
Oh, best of
I'm
luck.
doing thank you. I'm doing one World Major every year. So I did Chicago 22, Berlin 23, London 24, Tokyo 25, and now it's New York 26, and maybe Boston next year, and maybe Sydney after that.
Wow,
So I kind
that's
of
amazing.
spread that out so that I can keep staying fresh and keep myself spending extra effort towards that one major in that year. And of course, then TMM and VDHM are my standard in my running circuit. So one half marathon, one full marathon, and one world major. And then,
That's
of
nice.
course, I might mix and match with a few marathons or events here and there. That's how it works.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question. I
Please,
have
please.
so when you were 20 years old and you were thinking about your life, like the next 20 years of your life, do you think
Yeah.
it's the same as what you thought it was?
Not at
Like
all.
now? Okay.
I keep telling my daughter I was so stupid and I was so, I would use the word stupid, but I was so, I don't know what's that right word. I was so oblivious to the world outside of my universe. I was just clear that I wanted to be an engineer because my dad was an engineer. I just wanted to get a job because my dad had work. So it was very clear. Do engineering, do job, and your life is sorted. It was nothing. I never thought. In fact, the most stupidest thing that I talk about myself is that I spent 10 years in Japan and I did not even know there's an event called Tokyo Marathon. I
Oh,
didn't even know there's Tokyo Marathon. There's something called Tokyo Marathon. And when I came back in 2010 and 2013, I started running. Then people started talking about marathons. I think it's only in 2016, 2017, I knew the whole concept of world majors. And there is a marathon which happens also in Tokyo, and it's a big event, and
yeah.
you have to really struggle to get in. And I'm like, wow. I think every field, every generation has its phases. You are probably in the AI phase. You don't know, 20 years down the line, the world might have discovered something completely different, which might make AI sound so lame. Like you take internet for granted, your kids, your next generation might think AI for granted. and they might not be wowed by anything in AI ever, and they might be looking at the next generation. So this 20 years is a pretty large span, and especially if I look at the new millennia, which has started from the year 2000, the growth of information technology and technology has made things move so fast, and I think that's what scares people about AI, that it's not the upgradation of technology infra, it's the speed at which the upgrade is happening. Every 6 months an AI new version is
Yeah.
getting released. It says it's going to do something very dramatic. That 6 months typically used to be 2.5, 3 years earlier. Now it's like every 6 months something new is happening. So yeah, I don't know. 20 years back, when I was 20 years, things were very different. I'm sure next 20 years things are going to be very different. I just hope that I am smart enough for the next 20 years. I'm not bothered about what happened last 30 years. That's going to be far more challenging for me to stay up to date on what's going to happen in next 20 years, because it's going to be, the world will grow faster, and obviously I'm going to be getting older, so my ability to understand and learn might slow down as well. Hey, thank you very much, Renee. It's been a fantastic stuff that you're doing. Really proud of what you're doing. And I love the confidence with which you're pursuing the goal. And I'm sure you'll not achieve this goal, but you'll break it fair and square. And I hope you planned out some new goals by the time you get to the finish line in South Africa.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.